What's up, guys? Took a quick break, and now we're getting right back into the October 2018, I think. Hang on, let me remind myself. Yeah, October 2018 SAT. This is actually the College Board official practice book, the Blue Book, practice test number 10. So the remaining practice tests I need to go through are primarily going to be also from the Blue Book. So in a way, I am kind of going through the Blue Book right now. I think there's only one non-Blue Book test that I might have to cover, but besides that, everything else is from the Blue Book. I let my hair down. I'm just going to keep it down. But let me just tie it back up so it's a little neater. And we're going to go right into passage number 3. Passage 2, passages 1 and 2, I did in a previous stream. I actually should link that. So let me do a little bit of that right now, because if I don't do it now, I'm going to forget later. So let me just find that link real quick. Copy link address. Okay. And I just updated the description with that link. So now we can get into the third passage, setting up my stopwatch. We were at over here 24:35. That's 24:37. And we're going to go right into the third passage. Just a reminder, you guys are welcome to ask me questions throughout this period. Okay, I will try to answer any one-offs, like things that I can answer really quickly. I'm going to do it right away. But questions that require some thought, I will come back to after I finish the test when I do the review. Okay, when I score myself and I review. So some of your questions I will not get around to in the chat until afterwards. Besides that, what's there? Besides that, I should let you know that I do have a new Discord server because the previous one got taken down, and I've talked about this in previous streams, so I won't go too long into it. For the time being, we have a temporary Discord server that we got to work with. I'm hoping it's temporary. I'm hoping that I can regain access to my original server. If you care about my channel and this community at all, please pray to the Discord gods that they will let me reinstate my account and my original server, so that we can just keep things going along without a hitch. I hope that I can have some sort of human connection with the customer support team, because as of now, it's been pretty much like robo emails. So hopefully I can get somebody to read the email that I wrote. That's my first goal. Let me know. Show your support, please, because I am having a hard time with this. And so let me know let me know your thoughts in the comments or chat. It'll make me feel better. Okay, so let's get ready to go. That's it for announcements. Here we go. Passage 3. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Questions 22. Sabrina Richards. Pleasant to the touch. Something about touch. Textbooks had slow conducting nerves, that they only had 2, pain and temperature, 2 types of stimuli. Pressure and vibration are for pain, I guess. Right. Okay, I'm not sure how all 4 of these words connect. Okay, fast fibers. Okay. I see. I see. I see. So pain is vibration and pressure, and temperature is warmth. Okay, so okay, that took me a little. It took me a moment to figure that out. What the heck was going on? H-O, Olausen, as long as plus V and W. Okay, slow fibers and pressure. Okay, cool. We're looking for the counter example. 1993, 28 young volunteers. Brushing, okay, brushing, that's pressure. Microneurography, microneurography. A single nerve, wow, sounds very high tech. Soft stroking, two signals, a fast one, it's both. That's interesting. Slow fibers. Yeah, but where are the other numbers? Where's the slow numbers? We don't have the numbers. It's confusing. Oh no, it's right here. So CT fibers. Slow fibers are CT fibers. Okay. Oh no, they named it. Okay, it's specific slow fibers. They're not responsive to pinpricks. Why? Why have these CT fibers? 2810. Only, and it's interesting. Hairless skin does not. Interesting. A different dimension. Okay, so a new hypothesis. And because limitations of the original experiment. What aspect? Where the brush touches? Difference between. Could also be pleasant. These are multiple questions, but basically it's all about the quality of the sensation, not just the pressure. Okay, interesting. New experiment. Numbness. She has no responsiveness to pressure. Cool, so it gets rid of the other parts. Now we can only focus on, she can't, yeah, none of this, but she can sense warmth. Her slow conducting, yeah. We brushed her arms and she had more trouble. A pleasant sensation, there you go. It is an emotional thing. Interesting. Cool. 30:05. All right, stop. Okay. So I'm gonna get into my map of the passage. My map of the passage. Here we go. I'm doing this from memory. Let's see. So, my map of the passage. Hang on. We have Olausen, the researcher. Okay, comes out in like the first paragraph, I think, and I don't remember if before or after we were talking about how there's, the first paragraph is not about Olausen. The first paragraph is about the background. Sorry, so for a long time, people have thought that nerves carry only two types of tactile information. Okay, one is for pain and one is for temperature. Pain responds to things like pressure. Temperature responds to warmth. Okay, so far so good. Moreover, in the first paragraph, this paragraph took me a long time to process, the slow fibers, experiments have shown that the warmth sensations travel through slow fibers, and then the pain sensations travel through fast fibers, which intuitively makes some sense. When I touch things, when I feel something hot, it takes me like a 0.1 seconds to feel it, whereas a pinprick, I feel it immediately, right? We know this from our daily experience. So far that's the common consensus. Olausen and people. This is still the top of the left column, but it's like, but it's the next paragraph. Olausen and his team, I think in Northern Europe or somewhere, they are investigating the possibility, what about gentle pressure? Could pressure connect to the slow fibers instead of the fast fibers? I forget if there was like a specific reason why they wanted to be curious about that, but they were curious about that. And so starting from that second paragraph, we talk about how they I don't remember. They talk about how they gather together and they got these subjects. Oh, there's like a first study and a second study. Oh, okay, there we go. The first study is they got a bunch of people, and I think, they basically just confirmed that gentle, they use this new technology, the micro something, where they can detect nerve signals in a single nerve. And they found that when they were brushing them with like a brush, okay, on hairy skin, that they did feel something. Okay, that's basically the left column. Okay, I don't remember the details of it so much for some reason, but it wasn't super complicated. It was pretty simple. It's just there. Okay, starting at the bottom left, going to the top right. Now we're talking about some conclusions and limitations of this hypothesis, and then we're gonna move to a different hypothesis, which is that I don't fully remember all the details, but basically the problem with this hypothesis and problem with this technology is you can only tell you can confirm the fact that there are nerve signals that are transferring, but we don't know necessarily what kind of information is being transferred. Okay, do they know anything about the aspect of the tactile source through those nerve firings? Like when the nerves fire off, like does any information get conveyed? So Olausen and these friends, right, researchers, they look into they start a second experiment to answer what can they feel, what do you learn through the gentle pressure, and why is it only in the hairy areas, right? I forgot that bit, but yeah, why is it only in the areas? So in the next paragraph we get into the actual experiment, which is they found a unique, an unusual person, okay, GL, who specifically has lost all functioning in her fast fibers. Only her slow fibers work, so she can detect heat, warmth. Okay, CT is one of those types of fibers, by the way, which comes out in the left column. But it only comes out in the slow fiber. She only has a slow fiber, so she can't feel pinpricks or anything like that. There's some background because of some treatment that she had or something like that. It ended up, this was like a big nasty side effect that she had. Well, turns out that if you brush a normal person's like hairy skin, multiple parts of their brain will fire off because it's firing off for the fast and the slow fibers simultaneously, okay? But if you brush GLs, okay, specifically the pleasure part of the brain fires. It lights up, which means that actually it seems like slow fiber CT fibers convey information that has something to do with the pleasure, like the pleasurableness of a tactile experience. Okay. Whew. I'm not very fluent right now. I'm not eloquent right now, but I think that's still a really decent map. It's not the best that I've ever come up with, but that is my map of the passage from memory without looking back at the page. How does that compare to your map? Okay, I'm gonna get into the passage now. Here we go. Or the questions now. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. The authors in the early 90s would have likely expected which condition. Textbook authors would have okay, so when you block fast fibers, you will not have pressure. No, not compensate. Yeah, vibrations. There we go. Pressure and vibrations. That's 30-30. And best evidence is probably like 4-7 area. I'm just looking roughly, but it's around there. Sensation press, yeah, 4-7 is exactly correct. Okay, and then 30-45. So that took me about, how many seconds did that take me? That took me 40 seconds to do those two questions. 18 active means, oh, pressure, wait, hang on. I lost focus on the subject of the active. 18, active means slow fibers might be active in humans, okay? Slow fibers responsive to gentle pressure might be active. Might be present, yeah, might exist. Okay, 24 capture. Okay, they use this technique, and this fine filament is going to capture, or is going to measure, is going to record the electrical impulses. Cool, that was 20 seconds. Which conclusion is best supported by findings of 1993? That must be the first one, right? Yep, 1993. And the first one confirms that they have two signals, a fast and a slow. Okay? This can be sensitive. Extremities of gentle pressure. It says not. Yeah. There we go. That's exactly what I was looking for. 32-10. Okay. Which choice provides the best evidence? Okay. So 32-10. Best evidence. Best evidence is. Hang on. 26 through 28. 26 through 28. Okay. That is 30-30. I took 50 seconds on those two questions. 43-45 serves mainly to 43-45. Stopped. Okay. I have to stop because I'm distracted, and the reason I'm distracted is because someone rang the doorbell and I'm trying to ignore it, but I don't think I can ignore it. Give me a second. Let me talk to my brother. I'll be right back. Okay. Yeah, that distraction was actually making me lose time on the previous two questions, so I had to just deal with it. Okay, I'm ready to continue. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. 43 to 45, 43 to 45. Why? So this is opening up a new hypothesis. Previously failed, propose a solution, anticipate a criticism, show a problem. Yes. 33-20. That's the closest to my prediction. Okay. It can be inferred that one of the goals of the 1999 experiment, okay, was to figure out, and now 1999 is different from the 1993 experiment, okay. The 1999 experiment was to determine what? The aspects, the nature of sensation, that's actually already the correct, I don't even need to double check. That's exactly it. I'm gonna just quickly read the other ones, but yeah. The main purpose of 64 to 75, I read the other ones too quickly, I'm just double checking. 64 to 75, let's look at 64 to 75, this paragraph. To address this question, they found a subject. So they're describing why, nope, not relieved. They're describing a particularly interesting experiment case. Proceed. Yeah. Compare. Okay, 34-25. So that was what, 40 seconds? GL differ from other test subjects in terms of which parts of the brain. That's basically right. I'm just gonna double check these other ones. Intensity signals. Yeah, so that's 34-50. Now I'm moving on. That was 25 seconds. Experiencing the emotional aspect of touch when they have, CT fibers. When you get the CT fibers firing. 35-05. And stop. Moving on to the next passage. Sorry, why did I stop? I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep resuming time. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Okay, so continuing on with the next passage. Okay, passage 4. 1898. I circled this because I thought this was the first passage. I got confused. March of the Flag. 1898. What? Oh, this must be This must be Manifest Destiny. Actually, this is, I don't know. What is this? A land that God has given us. Feed and clothe the world. Land whose coastlines would enclose half the countries of Europe. 2 oceans. It sounds like Manifest Destiny. Okay. First, we're talking about the land. Now we're talking about the people. Okay, now we're talking about the history. Chose people, history is Liberty Bell, lots of pride. Lots of pride right now. History of soldiers, statesmen, soldiers, right? Faith. Okay, think of the thousands of Americans who will pour into Hawaii and Puerto Rico. Cover those lands with just... Okay. Invade the Philippines when a liberal... Okay, so we're talking about Hawaii, Puerto Rico, Philippines, Cuba. Government of law. Millions. Okay, wow. I don't think I've ever read this. 37, very jingoistic actually, almost. If it is right for the United States to hold the Philippine Islands permanently. Okay, so we're, that was talked about, and imitate the empires. Then the Republican Party ought to state its position. But must expect such racists, you must expect protestation. people, the Filipinos, hang on, who is this second person? Oh, okay, wow. Okay, so William Jennings Bryan. We have not been an encouragement to Filipinos. Okay. If you are going to criticize the Filipinos who hate foreign domination are talking about it, then you must also criticize Patrick Henry because they're using the same language. That's such an interesting that's such an interesting rhetorical move right there. Anyway, 38:45, just to keep things going. Someone has said that truth once spoken can never be recalled, goes on and on. Huh. A truth can never be recalled. A war would still leave its He never made a race people so low that would welcome a foreign master. Yeah, wow. That's pretty enlightened, honestly. William Jennings Bryan, there you go. Not only the effect of imperialism on the Filipinos, but also on our own nation. Okay, we're going to be hypocritical and we're going to weaken ourselves. We're going to destroy our own Declaration of Independence and we're going to create more hate. 40:05. Stop. Okay, I'm going to go into my map of the passage. My map of the passage, where I try to remember everything from left to right, and I try to remember where they are, where the ideas came out. Compare yours to mine. Here we go. So, first passage is interesting. First passage, the first paragraph is literally just pumping up the audience. We have a glorious people, a glorious land, a glorious people, a glorious history. He's just pumping them all up, getting them all psyched up. We deserve it. We are the lords of this earth is kind of the vibe there. It's pretty disgusting if you have any sort of post-colonial mindset at all. It's pretty disgusting. If you are jaded by imperialism at all, it's pretty disgusting. That first paragraph, it's filthy. That first paragraph. Then you move into that second paragraph it's a long first paragraph, so it's almost at the bottom actually. It's like the middle of the second left column. In the middle of the left column, he goes into imagine, okay, and this is the final paragraph of this passage, of this speech. Imagine what would happen if we brought freedom to the Philippines, to Hawaii, to Puerto Rico, to Cuba, blah, blah, blah. If we establish a law of government in these places and remove the law of tyranny in these places, whatever that was, right? Imagine what would happen. And he tells you what to imagine. He says, how many thousands, how many millions of Americans would go there? We would populate it. We would invade it, blah, blah, blah. He says all this. He says all this in not a negative way. He means that this is a good thing. This is the manifest destiny. It is clear. It is patent. It is manifest that our destiny as Americans is to go from sea to sea, to conquer this land, and then to establish a righteous government in other lands as well. That is how it ends. Imagine what would happen. All of us Americans would go and take over these lands as well. It's a good thing for this person. Okay, now passage number 2, starting on the right column, what happens is we get this, what's it called? We get William Jennings Bryan, who talks about the Filipinos, and he immediately starts off with thinking like, if we are going to be just like the other European imperial powers, and we're going to start conquering these lands and make them our own, well, the Republicans, you Republicans, the Republican Party, you better be upfront about it. You better be honest about it. Say that you're going to be an empire, that's your policy. Be honest about it. And number two, don't be dumb about it. The Filipinos are not going to like it. They are going to resist. Don't be dumb. Of course they're going to resist. Okay, that's his first paragraph. Such a good opening, honestly. Such a good opening. Second paragraph then goes into this thing about, it's a short paragraph, so it's still at the top of the right column, but he talks about how if any of you think that Filipinos should shut up with their hatred of foreign domination, okay? Like the rebellious Filipinos who hate US domination, hate the idea of foreign domination. If you are annoyed by them, then you gotta be annoyed with Patrick Henry. Give me liberty or give me death. You're gonna be a hypocrite, so don't be a hypocrite, at least be consistent. You must deny Patrick Henry. You must deny Jefferson. You must deny George Washington. This is the third paragraph, and and if Patrick Henry, if Jefferson, if George Washington, their statute of limitations has expired, if it's too long ago, then here, I'll come up with a more recent example. You must also decry Abraham Lincoln. Because all of these people, right, were for more liberty, not more domination, is kind of the gist of the argument from what I remember. So after that, what happens is, that's now we're at the close to the bottom of the right column. He says, we're actually like the middle bottom of the right column, but he says, it's not easy to wipe out our own history, but let's say that we did wipe out our own history. Okay, the truth is something that's ever widening, so that's not easy, but it's not this complicated rhetorical move. I wouldn't bother too much about worrying. I wouldn't worry too much about understanding every single part of that, but anyway, you know, if even if we're able to sort of wipe out the truth of Jefferson and Lincoln and Washington and all this stuff, you know, even if our history, if our great figures from our history could be completely erased, and we were to wage this war, right, where we conquer these other nations and we become an imperial empire, okay, even if you ignored the power of the truth of our George Washingtons and all the people in the past, we would still not get away with it. We would increase the amount of hatred there is for us. Okay. So I think a lot of, by the way, just a modern day connection in the after September 11, 2001, when and then specifically in 2003 when George W. Bush his administration decided to go to war in Iraq. I think a lot of liberals who were against the war in Iraq could have used this text. This was such a good speech. This speech could have been used in 2003 against the Bush administration. That's what it seems like to me. Okay, but that's not my map of the passage though. It's me just doing a little bit of random history lesson. So moving on. So finishing off a map of the passage, the last paragraph talks about something, and I don't fully remember, but basically the big parts I got. Okay, I mean, I can't remember right now, so I'm going to move on. That was my map of the passage. How was yours compared to mine? Let's get into the questions now. What's up, me? What's up, me? I see you're there. Welcome to the stream. Going into the questions, by the way, you are allowed to ask questions, and I will try to answer them right away. If I can't, then I will answer them after I finish the test when I do the review. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. He asserts that the resources and immensities of the United States constitute a resources. Wait, I don't remember what resources, but basically this land, right? We have all of this stuff. By virtue of their power, institutions. I can kind of not safeguard against foreign replication. It seems off. Gift. Envy seems off. I'm gonna come back to this because I just have to process eliminate, and I don't like process eliminate. I don't know the exact evidence for it. First paragraph, second paragraph, passage 1. Commands mainly serve 2. 26 to 41. Commands. Think. Kind of convey this idea that there's going to be a benefit. Policy is a kind of weird word. Urgency is wrong. Responsibility is wrong. Refuting. Benefits is policy is kind of a weird word, but sure, I guess it is. I would say position personally because it doesn't sound like a policy at this point, but maybe it is a policy and I just don't know the historical background. 72, never be recalled. Okay, a truth once spoken can never be canceled, can never be retracted. There we go. That is 41:50. 20 seconds for that question. It can be inferred from passage 2 that Brian considers the preference for national sovereignty, okay, to be common, innate human desire. Yeah. That's totally, I don't even need to double check. 42:10, that was 20 seconds to answer that one. That comes close to the end. We cannot repudiate, I think 79 through 81 was partly what I was thinking of, but there's this thing. But 77 through 81 all help. 77 to 81, let's look. 77 to 81. Okay, 79 to 81 is pretty solid. But let me just double check. 72, 73? Nope. And then 53, 56? Nope. And I already kind of saw 80 to 85. What did I? 80 to 85. Yeah. No. None of those work. Okay. So that's 42, 55. Moving on. So how many? That is 35 seconds, 45 seconds. Calculate in line 85 most nearly means. Calculate. We must also calculate its effects. Consider, because that's the word that we use. We must also evaluate. 43:20. So that was 25 seconds. In developing their arguments, Beveridge and Brian both express admiration for the founders. No, for the history. I think history. Vibrancy. I'm just looking at this. Worldwide history. Idealism. Okay. I'm trying to figure out where Brian shares admiration for the U.S. Okay, where does Brian show admiration? Founding in history kind of works with Brian. Many aspects does not work with Brian. Okay, I'm going to just double check founding in history with passage 1. Founding in history, passage 1. It's a little, yeah, it just seems right. Let me just move on for now. Okay, I guess I could circle this. I don't really want to double check it, but I could just to be extra safe. Here we go. How long did that take me? That took me 1 minute and 20 seconds. Which choice describes a central difference between how Beveridge views the concept of liberty? Well, for beverage, it's you just spread it, and Brian, you have to let it happen. Yeah, you spread it. Yeah, this is just absolutely correct. I don't even need to check the other ones, so I'm going to move on. It can most reasonably be inferred from passage 2. He would criticize the vision of American government's island territories for being. Okay, he would criticize it for being. Passage 2 would criticize it for being imperialist. It would be contradictory. It would be hypocritical. It would be not okay. I almost think of this, but economic domination. It would be naive, since that was object. I mean, that's also true. Not impractical, not unrealistic. Yeah, that's kind of an awkwardly easy question. Kind of wish they had a better question there. Now the top. This is the very beginning. 46 to 48. 46 to 48. Okay. So 46, 20. Okay, so that was, I took, how many minutes? I took 11 minutes on that passage. Let's go. I have way too much time, huh? Are you serious? What? I have so much, I have 20 minutes left. Oh, here we go. Ensminger. Under the sun. Are we talking about plants right now? It leads to emergence of new weeds. Okay, a lot of things that are going on here, but basically lots of weeds, and they're just not getting enough light. Do the blades bring them to the surface, and then they get exposure to sunlight? Okay, there we go. That's the hypothesis. S and S, Saar and Struick, in the 1960s in Wisconsin. 10 different habitats, pairs of soil samples. And in one sample of each pair, they stirred in the light and in the dark. Okay? So they stir it in the light, stir it in the dark, and then exposed it to natural in a greenhouse. If you stir up in the light, obviously the weed growth was greater. A light break. Okay, makes sense. That's so far not that hard to understand. 48, 45. Carl Hartman. That sounds very similar. Oh, maybe less than one. I see. Because, yeah, that's different because it's not continuous. It's very short. Wow. That's a very simple solution. That's actually kind of cool. Although even under these conditions, hundreds of millions of... Okay, that's like an interesting... It's like an interesting aside about qualification about the numbers, the sufficient numbers. He was skeptical. That was his attitude at first. Of course, this can't work. Otherwise, it would have been discovered a long time ago. Yeah. Okay, in 1988, actually, it was... And then here's the idea. he plowed 2 strips. 2 strips. Carl Sadel cultivated 1 strip, repeated 3-fold, around midday, and the other one at night. With, by the way, no crops. That's just a nice little control. Wow. That's huge, dude. What the crazy? That's huge. Being used. And we have more studies that support. Wow. Okay, 50, 55. Stop. Okay. I have so much time. Maybe was I rushing? Was I rushing or was it just easy? Okay, well, God, I have so much time. Maybe this was just easy, man. Oh, I should have like a easy to hard ranking. Bruh. I should have been doing that this whole time. Sad. Okay, well, I can start now. I was going to say something. Oh, I was going to do my map of the passage. Here we go. The map of the passage. Oh, I should change my page so you can tell that I'm not looking. So, basically there's 2 large experiments that we're talking about, and that the first experiment comes in the middle of the left column, and then the second experiment begins at the bottom of the left column and bleeds over into the right column, okay? But at the very beginning, for some reason, I'm forgetting what happens. At the very beginning, it talks about how farmers are plow in order to remove weeds, which is generally effective, but as every farmer knows, the problem is that when they plow, after a week or 2, new weeds start emerging. They can remove the old weeds, but new weeds keep emerging. It's just repetitive, ongoing labor. Okay, they don't say that directly in the passage, but that's implied. Okay, so that's the first paragraph. The second paragraph is still at the top of the left column. It talks about how, scientists have hypothesized that it might be due to light. That when the weeds, there's like 50,000 weeds seeds per square meter or something, and if they're below a centimeter below the surface or below some sort of threshold underneath the surface, then they're not receiving light. It might be because of light. I think that's the second paragraph. Don't fully remember. Now the third paragraph is when we introduce the first 2 researchers, S and S. Now, or maybe it's the same paragraph. Maybe the third paragraph and the same paragraph are the same. But roughly in that same area, we get S and S who confirm with their first experiment, okay, somewhere a long time ago, like in the 90s or something, that 60s even? Was it even longer ago? Where they confirmed that actually, the light does make a big difference. And the way they did it was they went to 10 different plots, got 10 different pairs of dirt, with some weed in it, obviously. Not that kind of weed. It's funny just to think about it with some weed in it. Anyway, but they got 10 different plots, right, with 10 pairs of dirt with weed in it, and they just mixed it up. They stirred it up. But when did they stir it up? For each pair, one of them they stirred it in the light, and one of them they stirred it in the dark. And it turns out afterwards, if you expose them to the sun, some time will pass, and then the weeds will grow again. Especially a lot more in the one that was stirred in the light, which was to emulate the plowing behavior. Okay, then there was this new guy, KH, I think. KH, I don't remember his actual name, but KH. KH came out like more recently, like maybe 1990s or something, where he wanted to confirm whether even a tiny, like a millisecond of exposure to light can make a difference. He he hypothesized that it could, that it's enough light to kickstart the germination process in the weeds. Well, super interesting little background detail, and then somewhere at the top right, talks about something that's not the experiment, but maybe about the impact of the experiment. I don't fully remember what happens at the very top right, but after the top right, we go towards like the middle of the middle right, and then we actually talk about the experiment, and the experiment goes something like, what did he do? He just got 2 farmers. The bottom left and top right talks about how, maybe the solution is just to plow in the dark. But then he's like, wait, but that's such an obvious thing. Of course, in our millennia of history, as a human civilization, somebody must have figured this out if it was that easy. But it turns out he's right. That's what it says in the top right. And then it goes into experiment. So the order is kind of flip-flopped. It's not usually in that order, right? That it's explained, but that was the order of this passage, which is why it was hard to remember. And then it gets into the actual experiment where basically there's two farms or 2 plots, and one of them is farmed. One of them is plowed in midday, and one of them is plowed at night. And it turns out there's a huge difference, like a 1% to 80% difference in the amount of weed that is grown, like a huge difference. And then there's like a final conclusion paragraph that I don't fully remember. The conclusion paragraph is that now it's being used in Germany, and many, many studies have confirmed this. That is my map of the passage. I would say that's pretty good. I would give myself like an A- or B+ on that one for my map of the passage. How does your map compare to mine? Okay, now I'm about to get into the passage again. Here we go. I didn't read the chart the first time, so I'm going to read it now, and then I'm going to go into the questions. Here we go. Wait, let me just double check that I wrote all the times. Okay, 50-55. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Number of seedlings 1 month after this is the first experiment. This is the 1964 experiment by SNS. Yeah. This is like way more, much greater on the left side. There's no outlier. They're all between 1 and 3. There is one outlier, kind of weird. But yeah. Besides that one outlier, everything else works. Okay, 51-25. Let's keep going. Exposure to light allows seeds to begin to develop. That's correct. That's just true. I mean, I don't need to double check that. That took me less than 10 seconds. Okay. The question primarily serves 13-17. The question. That's the hypothesis. It introduces the hypothesis. The research topic. Yes, that's correct. That's 51-50. How many seconds was that? That was 15 seconds. Oh my goodness. That's the power of prediction, kids. And I'm not even I'm just quickly double checking the ones, but I didn't really need to. Induced, line 16. Induced, line 16. Is whether germination is kickstarted, is induced, is caused, is stimulated. Okay, that is 52-15. That took me 25 seconds. Which choice best supports the idea that seeds present in the fields, plowed at night, are still exposed? That's the bottom left. Okay, that's the very bottom left where this paragraph comes out. Okay, during that, so this starts at 41. Okay, 41. To 47. 41-47. Okay, there we go. 52-50. That took me 35 seconds. Okay, and then 47. Suggests that if Seidel had planted wheat or corn on the 2 agriculture. Let's look at the numbers. I just looked at answer choices. I briefly looked at this lower, higher, like I found the sort of percentage numbers, and that's what made me realize I was supposed to compare the percentages. So here, for 9 out of the 10, the wheat growth was greater when they stirred it up. Okay? Whereas here, 80%, It's not a direct apples to apples comparison. So we're just talking about cover. What? The percentage of the surface? The percentage of the surface? But they don't talk about percentage of the surface. It just says greater. It just says greater. That's all it says. Am I misreading the question right now? Okay, maybe I'm supposed to focus on wheat or corn. If Seidel in Hartmann's experiment, wheat or corn, wheat or corn, wheat or corn, wheat or corn. Oh, Seidel. Oh my God. That's KS. What's the Hartmann experiment? Ah, I see. Oh my God. I misread the question so hard. I misread it so hard. I have to reread. Okay, no crops were planted because it would have been dropped lower. Yeah, because they would have to compete. Oh my God, that destroyed me. How many minutes was that? That was almost 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes. That was, oh my God. That was 2.5 minutes. Okay, which provides the best evidence? That's 60 to 62. Dramatic most nearly means impressive. Let me just double check. Results were impressive, yeah. The results were huge, big, dramatic. 55, 55. Oh my God, so sad. In which soil sample disturbed in darkness did the fewest number of seedlings emerge? Fewest number? I mean, that's this, so A. Most seedlings in light. I. Which claim? I mean, that's bottom left. I mean, what? This is way too easy, man. Hang on. Okay. I can't zoom for some reason. Here we go. Where are we? Yep. 26 to 30. Whoa, what? 38 to 48, 43, 10 to 13. 10 to 13. Nope. 40 to what? 38 to 43. Let's just double check 38 to 43. Yeah, I mean, that works. Or 1 to 3 and 8 to 10. I'm doing a process elimination. Nope. 8 to 10. Nope. So that's the only one that's remaining. Okay, 57, 45. And I should go, I'm going green. So this is now I am done with those passages. I'm going to use this extra time to go double check some questions that I circled. All right, here we go. Obviously, I can take questions whenever you guys ask them. I have so much extra time right now. It serves mainly to, so I didn't like this question. It seems kind of like a weird wording, honestly, but this interaction, Ralford explains that she has this thing. Barnard. We don't know that Ralford is precocious, and I wouldn't say dismissive and disinterested teacher. All of this is very weak. So yeah, it's just be, but this is just, yeah, I mean, you just have to go with it because even though it's just the best answer choice out of the options that are there. Okay, 5850, let's go. Nothing else on this page. Let's look at this. Many attempts to improve traffic, they are well-intentioned, but they ultimately lead to environmental harm. 31 through 40. 31 through 40. If, okay, misguided effort to do something of value that's beneficial, what will happen? We actually make it worse. Actually make worse. Yep. We actually make it worse. Perfect. That is 59:45. Anything else? Moving on. Moving on. Moving on. 33. Beveridge asserts that the resources and immensity of the United States constitute a divine gift, a land that God has given us. It can feed. It would enclose half the country. Okay, that's immensity and resources. The feeding is the resources, and the immensity is half of Europe. So that's 60-30. Am I done? Oh, what's this? I didn't see this. Oh, they both express admiration for the founding and history. See, I don't like this and, man. This and. Where do we get founding and history with Brian? We get the history. Do we get the founding? I mean, it's all sort of, it's not very exact language. It's just sort of, yes, you can imagine it being true, but it's like not very exact. Because but all the other ones are clearly wrong. I guess it permeates many aspects. Yeah, so I'm gonna leave that one alone. 61:20, and I think we're done. So stop. That's 61:20. All right. Let's score it. Let's score it. All right. What was this? This is the practice test number 10, which is, I wonder if I should change this SAT stream title to not the month that it came out, October 2018, but instead just call it practice test number 10. Because that's probably more common now that I think about it. That's the way that most people will find it. All right, I'm looking up the answers. Give me a sec. Okay, there we go. Wow, this is isn't there an easier way of finding this? Hang on. I don't want answer sheet. No, that ain't it. Scoring? Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm just looking at it. Give me a second. Answer. This is my reading test. Here we go. I chose, hang on, I just realized I can't see my YouTube chat, so just in case anybody's chatting, I need to be able to see it. So let me rearrange my screen so I can actually see. Okay, there we go. Oh, hey, someone did chat. Ina Zeke. I'm gonna call you Ina Zeke. Ina Zeke, thank you. Thanks for the encouraging words. All right, 1 through 5 I chose. And by the way, guys, if you have any questions on these passages, you can definitely ask me right now. I'll get back around to it as soon as I can. 1 through 5 I chose A, B, D, B, A, A, B, D, B, A. Where are we? A, B, D, B, A are correct. And then I chose A, D, C, C, A, B. A, D, C, C, B are correct. That's 10 for... Hang on, why is my pencil not working? My pencil's... Oh my god, my battery died. Is there a better way of... Can I use my finger for this? No, I can't. Well, it's 10 for 10, okay? So I'm going to keep scoring. 10 for 10. 11 and 12, I chose DA. 11 and 12 are DA, correct. And then I chose ABCC. ABCC are correct, cool. And then I chose DCB. DCB are correct, cool. And then I chose BD. BD are correct, cool. All right, no questions on passage 2, and I'm 11 for 11. 11 for 11. Now, let me see if my pencil charged enough. 11 for 11, cool, I can write that down. And over here, 10 for 10. All right, 21 for 21 so far. Here we go. 22. I chose DBAC. DBAC are correct. Then I chose CBD. CBD are correct. Then I chose ADAB. ADAB are correct. That's, I think, 11 for 11. 11 for 11. Cool. Any questions on passage 3? No questions on passage 3. All right. Questions for passage 4. I'm going to score it right now. 33 to 36, I chose CBBD. Wait, hang on, wait. What? 33. Oh, I was looking at yeah, there we go. C, B, B, D are correct. I flipped out for a second. I thought I got 3 wrong in a row. Okay, C, B, B, D, correct. And then I got CAA. CAA are correct. And then I got BDA. BDA are correct. So that's 10 for 10. And then this feels like the easiest test so far. 43 to 44, I chose AB. AB are correct. Then I chose DCAB. DCAB are correct. And then I chose CA, correct. And CD, correct. That's 10 for 10. Which means I got 52 out of 52. 2 days in a row, suckers. All right, 2 days, 52. Leading up to the May test, I was not actually getting a lot of 52s. You know what? But if any of you guys have been watching since my previous streams, if you've watched my older streams, and if you watched my May 2022, the May SAT debrief video where I talked about what changed. I had this bit of reflection about how I was overacting the PO, like I was overdoing the sort of zero POE approach. That actually you should be using process elimination a lot more than I was using in my streams, because I was being a little like run and gun. I was being kind of like a little Rambo. I was just sort of being like, no, that's the right answer, and then just moving on. I wasn't doing process elimination. But I still think it's very valuable that I did that, because I can prove to you guys that you can actually get 48 out of 52 just by reading the passage and just by running and gunning without doing process elimination. Like with barely doing any process elimination, trying to avoid process elimination like a freaking allergy, you could still get 48 out of 52 just doing that. And I want to disprove this common conception that process elimination is like the bread and butter of test taking. It's not, especially not for reading. You know what the bread and butter of a reading test is? It's fucking reading. You have to read. Just like how for a math test you have to know some math, and how for a writing test you need to know some grammar. Like for reading you need to actually read, right? So I keep saying this because so many people have this idea that no, you're just supposed to do question strategy and process elimination and eliminate the long answers and blah, blah, blah. No, man, read the thing. Read the thing. You can get 48 out of 52 without even doing process elimination. And so I think it's very valuable that I did the old streams that aggressively, but my real test taking is not actually that aggressive. It's a little bit more cautious. I do process elimination, and so maybe that's why I got 52 out of 52 twice in a row. By the way, I did read a couple of these passages before, but it didn't really help me because, maybe it did help me because I saved a little bit of time, but I didn't remember any of the questions at all. So it didn't help me on my score. It might have saved me like a minute or two. But if you actually watch this stream, you'll notice that actually didn't really save time. But anyway, that's your, you can be the judge of that. So yeah, I would definitely just say, do prediction first, get better at it, and then work in the question strategy second, do the process eliminations afterwards. It's still important. You can't completely ignore process elimination. Yeah. Also, these two tests, yesterday's test and today's test, did seem a little easier. So that could be on my side right now. So we'll see what happens when I take other practice tests. Okay. Looks like there's no other questions. So that's it for today's stream. I got to do office hours stream pretty soon. Before that, I wanted to just do a quick, take a little bit of downtime, fix up my timestamps, and recharge for my next stream. So if you guys are benefiting from watching my streams, I'm curious how you guys are watching my streams. Let me know, what's been most helpful for you guys. It always helps me to understand, why you even like the things that I do, because I know my streams are pretty sloppy. It's not I'm not like a super professional streamer. So I'm kind of curious what value you do find in the things that I do. And if you do find any value and you want to keep helping this community grow, I would encourage you to hit that subscribe button. Specifically, once we get to 500 subscribers, I will be able to do community posts, and I think that would be really helpful, just in terms of expanding not only my reach, but also being able to engage with you guys better. Right now, I cannot have any sort of text exchange on YouTube with you guys. You have to come into Discord for us to even chat. But Discord wiped out my server, even though I didn't do anything. So I'm a little salty about Discord right now. So if we can get to 500 subscribers on YouTube, then at least we could do text posts and polls and stuff like that, and I think that'd be a major upgrade in the SAT experience, studying experience. So let me know. Come support, and I'll try to pump out the best SAT videos you ever see. All right, that's it for today, guys. Keep on growing. I'll see you guys in the next one.